You've never seen such a vain little girl. Her family was so poor they couldn't even afford food, yet she pointed to the huge mansion by the road and told her classmates it was hers. She even claimed the worst car they owned was a luxury vehicle. When her classmates saw the mansion and fancy cars, they looked at her with envy, and Minjin's vanity was instantly satisfied. Her classmates immediately asked if there was a private pool they could visit. Fearing exposure, Minjin hurriedly said she had piano lessons today and would invite them over next time. Just then, a grumbling woman emerged from the villa. Minjin froze in panic upon seeing her. It was her own mother. She ducked her head, desperate not to be recognized. Her mother spotted her and demanded, "What are you doing here?" To avoid exposure, Minjin addressed the woman. "How are you? Are you leaving now?" Her mother retorted, "What are you talking about? I just finished work." The classmates seemed to grasp the situation and asked Minjin, "Is that your mother?" Left speechless, Minjin turned and fled. Back home, Minjin berated her mother loudly. "Why didn't you call me miss in front of my classmates? Did I come to the villa gate to tell my friends I have a maid for a mother? If you're dressed like this, don't even bother greeting me." To her surprise, her mother immediately apologized, saying she'd been too slow to react and promised it wouldn't happen again. Minjin persisted, "Then why did you have me if we're so poor? Why make me embarrassed in front of my friends?" With that, she slammed the door and stormed out. Watching her daughter run away, Mom felt it was her fault for not giving her daughter a better life. The next day, all the classmates gave Minjin strange looks. They mocked her mom for being a maid, but Minjin calmly stood up and said, "That woman yesterday is our family's maid. She lost her daughter, so she's a bit unstable. My mom took pity on her and let her stay." The classmates told her to stop lying, saying they wouldn't believe her anyway. Minjin retorted, "It's just a house. What's there to lie about? In your eyes, is that house the palace of the Dragon King? You country bumpkins." Minjin's mental fortitude was truly first-rate. Even I felt ashamed by comparison. Did you think she was only deceiving her classmates? Not at all. She even had the teachers wrapped around her little finger. Never seen such a scheming little girl. To win that modeling contest, she actually lied about being a rich family's daughter. Back home, she complained to her mom about not having a single decent outfit. Her mom sighed helplessly, "Debt collectors come every day. As long as clothes keep you warm, what more do you need?" Minjin retorted, "What you wear defines how you live. Dress like a princess and you live like one. Dress like a beggar and you live like one. It's precisely because mom dresses like this that we'll live an ordinary life forever." With that, Minjin stormed off angrily. The next day, Minjin arrived at the competition venue. Unfei, standing nearby, couldn't help but compliment Minjin on how beautiful she looked. Enfi greeted Minjin warmly, but Minjin showed no reaction. Wanting to get her attention, Enfi nudged her only for Minjin to yank Enfi's sash loose. Oh no, the competition was about to start. Enfi pushed Minjin to the ground in anger. Minjin screamed as she fell, apparently hurting her wrist. Enfi quickly apologized and prepared to call an adult to handle it. Minjin, however, said the competition was about to start and it wasn't necessary, adding that she wouldn't tell anyone about the incident. She then pulled Enfi toward the stage. Watching Minjin perform flawlessly on stage, Enfi realized Minjin had been faking her injury. Though Enfi had tried to fix things, it was no surprise that Minjin won first place. After the race, Unfei faced a stern scolding from her mother. Meanwhile, Minjin's aunt, delighted by her victory, gifted her the hanbok. Unfei caught up to Minjin, calling her a cheat for winning through such dishonorable means. "Tell me," Minjin countered, "do you know why the tortoise won the race against the hare?" "What do you think?" Minjin asked. "Because the tortoise deliberately chose a warm day. The hare has too much fur, and warm weather makes it sleepy. So whoever wins must have their reasons. Now do you understand?" Enfi felt Minjin didn't deserve the hanbok and snatched it away. In their struggle, the hanbok fell into the pond. To Minjin, the hanbok was priceless. Without hesitation, she dove into the pond to retrieve it, a move that left Unfei utterly speechless. Born into a wealthy family, Unfei likely couldn't grasp the hanbok's significance to Minjin. When her mother saw the beautiful garment, she assumed Minjin had stolen it. The vain little girl warned her mother not to touch her clothes, simply because she thought her vegetable-selling mother's hands were dirty. Hearing her daughter's cutting remark, the mother didn't scold her. Instead, she felt even more ashamed before her child. The daughter declared that other mothers dressed so elegantly, while hers wore rags day in and day out. She even said that if she had to keep such a mother forever, she'd rather be an orphan. The mother was instantly speechless. Despite working so hard, she still couldn't give her daughter a better life. Seeing the pink princess bed starkly out of place in the surroundings, the mother believed she had given her daughter the very best. When she saw her daughter's perfect exam scores, she asked why Minjin hadn't told her. Minjin replied, "What's the point? You wouldn't take me shopping for clothes like other parents do." To make Minjin happy, the mother decided to skip paying the month's interest and take her out for a Western-style meal. Though the mother dressed up elegantly, something felt off. She never imagined debt collectors would track Minjin down. Seeing her daughter bullied, the mother lashed out with a high heel. But the collectors weren't pushovers. The mother collapsed on the ground, sobbing uncontrollably. Yet Minjin said, "Just sell me to a rich family. I'm not happy at all with you. I'd do anything for you. Please give me away as an adopted daughter to a wealthy family." Her mother wept, speechless. So mother and daughter decided to flee that very night. Seeing the truck already packed to bursting, Minjin urged her mother to stop loading. "We're not moving," she said helplessly. "We're running for our lives." Meanwhile, Enfi, terrified her mother would divorce her father, secretly hid in her mother's car. Unexpectedly, a car accident occurred and she witnessed her uncle's death right before her eyes. Terrified, Effie scrambled out of the vehicle. Her mother, hearing discovery of her role in the crash, sped away without noticing poor Effie chasing after the car. She didn't realize Effie was missing until they reached home. After hiding by some hay and crying all night, Effie spotted a police car on the highway and ran to seek help. But she was struck by Mean Jean's mother, who had been driving all night. Fleeing mother and daughter never expected to run into the granddaughter of a wealthy family on the road. They quietly brought the girl to a hotel. Seeing Effie unconscious from the collision, they chose not to call the police out of fear of going to jail. Not only that, but upon seeing Effie awaken with no memory, they realized they had to get rid of her. Having barely shaken off the debt collectors, they couldn't risk this little girl exposing them. So the mother and daughter resolved to abandon Effie. But just as they were preparing to leave the hotel, they were stopped by the police. Had their hit and run been discovered? The officer asked, "Did you see last night's accident?" The woman quickly replied, No, we didn't see anything." As she turned to leave, Effie suddenly ran up, clutching her leg and crying, "Mommy, don't leave me." The owner remarked, "You're not planning to abandon the child here, are you?" Seeing the police nearby, the woman quickly denied it, claiming she was just going to fetch her car. Thus, she temporarily decided to take Effie in as her own daughter, intending to send her away once her memory returned. Effie's father gazed sadly at one of her favorite old drawings when suddenly an idea struck him. Knowing how much Effie loved to paint, he resolved to organize a national children's art contest. After seeing the contest, Effie came home and immediately knelt on the floor, drawing intently. When Min Jean returned from school, she kicked Effie to the ground just because Effie hadn't helped carry her backpack. She demanded to know why Effie was there and why she hadn't helped with the backpack. Effie suddenly remembered her mother must be very busy at the store right now, so she ran out. Min Jean suddenly spotted the contest poster on the floor. First prize came with a scholarship. She picked up Effie's drawing and was stunned. She never imagined Effie, who usually seemed a bit clumsy, had such artistic talent. A wicked idea formed in her mind. The drawing contest began. Its true purpose was to find the missing Effie. Suddenly, one drawing caught Dad's attention. "I've never seen such a biased mother. Both are daughters, yet why does she treat them so differently?" Younger daughter Effie is sweet and sensible, helping mom entertain guests whenever she can, washing dishes, serving plates. Yet mom treats her like this, even going so far as to call her useless. Even so, poor Effie still loves her mother and sister deeply. Meanwhile, the eldest daughter Min Jean not only refused to help her mother but also attended her favorite piano and art lessons. Yet her mother favored her even more, buying her cream buns from the supermarket and secretly letting her drink expensive milk. Min Jean also frequently bullied poor Effie, constantly making her do chores and even substituting her own name on Effie's contest entries. She didn't know this contest was deliberately organized by Effie's father to find his missing daughter. Effie's father was instantly captivated by Min Jean's painting, certain only Effie could depict the dying workshop so vividly. Could this little girl know Effie's whereabouts? After the contest, the couple invited Min Jean to stay for dinner. When asked who she came with, Min Jean lied, claiming she was an orphan who sneaked out alone. She said she now lived with a wine-selling aunt who beat and scolded her constantly, making her life miserable. Hearing Min Jean's wretched circumstances, Effie's parents immediately offered to sponsor her education in Seoul if she wished. Effie's grandmother, seeing Min Jean reminded her of her own granddaughter, gave Min Jean the clothes she had made for Effie. Min Jean envied this wealthy life and conceived a terrible plan. Meanwhile, debt collectors stormed Mom's small restaurant, smashing things inside. Mom blamed Effie for not watching the shop properly, calling her useless. Effie told Mom to sit and rest while she cleaned up the mess. Unbeknownst to them, Effie had once been a cherished princess in her own family. Min Jean's arrival to live among the wealthy plunged Effie and Mom back into misery. An 8-year-old girl, desperate to live like the wealthy, demanded to sever ties with her impoverished mother. She ordered her mother never to claim her as her daughter again, even pretending not to know her if they ever crossed paths on the street. Having told her adoptive wealthy parents she was an orphan, the mother collapsed to the floor upon hearing such heartless words from the daughter she raised with such effort. Not stopping there, Min Jean secretly packed her bags while her mother slept and resolutely left the woman who gave birth to and raised her. She vowed silently to become wealthy, refusing to live a life of poverty like her mother. When her mother finally tracked her down, Min Jean deliberately asked her adoptive parents if they truly intended to fund her education. Her adoptive mother assured her, "Of course, we'll support you as long as you wish," while frantically winking at Min Jean, desperate to keep her mother from disrupting her new life of privilege. Min Jean knew this was a message specifically meant for her birth mother. Watching her biological daughter walk past without recognition, she could only pretend not to know her. Perhaps this is the greatness of a mother's love. Nothing matters more than her children's happiness. Meanwhile, Effie remained alone, tending her mother's small restaurant. She was the one who should have had a happy life. 14 years passed swiftly. The sensible Effie blossomed into a young woman and changed her name to Belle. Belle continued working as an unpaid helper in her mother's shop, while Min Jean graduated from a prestigious university. On graduation day, Belle and her mother took an early bus to Seoul for Min Jean's ceremony. Spotting her long-lost sister, Belle waved excitedly, shouting greetings, only to be silenced by her mother's hand over her mouth. Min Jean then shot a vicious glare before walking away. Dazed, Belle couldn't understand why her mother acted this way. Mom explained that just seeing each other was enough. She didn't want to upset Min Jean. But Mom is Min Jean's real mother. Belle protested. Why hide? Seeing the deep disappointment in her mother's eyes, Belle walked straight up to Min Jean. The scheming woman accidentally discovered her rich kid boyfriend had become penniless. Being the gold digger she was, she immediately broke up with him. What she never expected was that she was pregnant. But Min Jean had no intention of keeping the child. Simply because her boyfriend now had nothing, she couldn't possibly spend her life with a poor man. So Min Jean went to the hospital. The doctor told her the fetus was developing well, but Min-jin insisted she couldn't give birth to this child. To get the doctor to perform the procedure, she lied, saying the child's father was dead. The doctor informed her the fetus was already 6 months along, too late for termination. The only option now was to give birth. Her emotions erupted violently. Desperate to end the pregnancy, she even went to a sauna, ignoring the signs prohibiting pregnant women and the elderly. She had become utterly deranged, yet her plan ultimately failed. Her poor boyfriend discovered the shredded ultrasound photos in a trash bin. Min-jin was actually pregnant. Overjoyed, he confronted her with the images, demanding to know if she was carrying a child. To make him give up hope, Min-jin lied, claiming the baby had died. Unconvinced, he insisted on taking her to the hospital for a checkup. Min-jin declared the child had vanished the day she became poor. The man vowed to work tirelessly to earn money, promising never to let Min-jin suffer. Min-jin responded that they were now strangers, and if he continued to pursue her, they would become enemies. Fearing Min-jin might harm herself, the boyfriend rushed to her foster mother's house. The foster mother told him Min-jin wasn't there. It turned out Min-jin knew he would come looking for her. She had told the lady early on that the man was her suitor, but after learning she had rejected him, he had become somewhat frightening. Hearing this, the foster mother comforted Min-jin and let her stay there. Unexpectedly, that night Min-jin suddenly felt abdominal pain. When she lifted the blanket, she saw a large amount of blood had flowed out. This woman was 6 months pregnant, yet she tightly wrapped her belly in gauze, desperate to hide her condition from others. To become the adopted daughter of a wealthy family, she not only concealed her 6-month pregnancy but also dragged her heavily pregnant body through household chores. She would rather be a maid in a rich household than a princess in a poor one. But while sleeping, she suddenly felt sharp abdominal pain. When she lifted the quilt, she saw heavy bleeding. Just then, the mistress called her to dinner. Terrified and drenched in sweat, she couldn't let the mistress see her state. Hastily hiding the blood-stained quilt and turning off the light, she claimed she felt unwell and needed to rest. When the mistress asked where she hurt, she felt Min-jin's forehead and discovered she had a fever. Min-jin lied, saying she'd taken medicine and would be fine after sleeping. The mistress, unable to say much more, left. Min-jin planned to secretly wash the blood-stained sheets in the middle of the night, but unexpectedly, the mistress appeared. Seeing the blood-stained skirt, she demanded an explanation. Min-jin froze in terror. The mistress looked down and saw heavy bleeding. The doctor asked if Min-jin was pregnant. Min-jin denied it vehemently, and the mistress pointed out she wasn't even married. The doctor noticed Min-jin wearing an abdominal binder. Min-jin hastily explained it was for stomach pain relief. The doctor insisted an x-ray would clarify everything. While the mistress paid the bill, Min-jin confessed to the doctor that she was indeed pregnant. She begged desperately for the doctor to keep it secret, pleading that revealing it would mean death for both her and the child. Seeing Min-jin's pitiful state, the doctor reluctantly agreed. Not stopping there, Min-jin reported her boyfriend to the police, falsely accusing him of harassment to have him imprisoned and escape his clutches. But when his father suddenly fell critically ill, Min-jin dismissed it as a man's lie, urging the police not to release him. Due to Min-jin's deliberate obstruction, her boyfriend ultimately couldn't see his father one last time, planting seeds of hatred in his heart. To conceal the child's birth, Min-jin studied books on midwifery. As she touched her swollen belly, sudden waves of excruciating pain struck her. She realized the baby was coming. She called her mother, insisting Bella must not be at home. Her initially cheerful mother was terrified by Min-jin's anguish, but upon seeing her swollen belly, she understood. This was a real home birth. Though excruciating, Min-jin uttered not a single cry. Watching the infant wail, the weakened Min-jin impatiently snapped, "Don't let the baby cry." The baby Min-jin had given birth to after enduring life-threatening labor was now to be sent to an orphanage. Though her heart ached at the thought of parting with the child she had brought into the world through such hardship, Min-jin resolved to have her mother deliver the infant to the orphanage. While her mother went to prepare kelp soup, Min-jin quietly slipped away, leaving the infant behind. Unexpectedly, Bella, who had just returned home, discovered the baby. Seeing the sudden presence of an infant in the house, Bella confronted her mother, demanding an explanation. Nervously, her mother claimed to have found the child abandoned at the doorstep. However, the teacher, noticing the blood-stained scissors on the floor and the simmering kelp soup, sensed something was amiss. Unfortunately, the woman was tight-lipped, revealing nothing. The teacher had no choice but to leave. Reading the note Min-jin had left and seeing her newborn granddaughter, the mother felt heartbroken but still sent Bella away. She secretly took the baby to the orphanage, and overcome with sorrow, she burst into tears outside the orphanage as soon as she stepped out. Min-jin returned to the wealthy household that very night. She couldn't let her adoptive parents suspect anything, she'd even abandoned her child. Yet Min-jin still failed to earn the mistress's favor, who treated her as mere servant. Ignoring her postpartum weakness, Min-jin worked outdoors soaking cloth in the pouring rain. When hunger struck, she'd soak rice in hot water, eating furtively for fear of being discovered. Then her mother called, informing her the baby had been sent away. She urged Min-jin not to forget to eat, reminding her that her body was still weak after childbirth and she must drink plenty of seaweed soup. Hearing her mother's concern, the exhausted Min-jin could no longer hold back her emotions. She hid in a corner and wept silently, afraid even her tears might be noticed. All this suffering was for the sake of becoming wealthy. Then the orphanage called again, saying the baby they'd delivered was sick. The doctor diagnosed congenital hearing impairment caused by the mother's unhealthy behavior before pregnancy. Seeing this newborn abandoned by its mother and now a kind-hearted Bella decided to adopt the poor child. This unmarried young maiden somehow gave birth to to a child out of thin air. Instead of blaming her, her mother took the newborn out onto the streets, telling everyone she met that the baby was her own daughter Bella's. This caused people around them to point fingers at Bella, calling her a shameless girl who got pregnant before marriage. The mother's motive was to legitimize keeping her biological daughter's child under her roof. She exploited Bella's kindness, manipulating her step by step into adopting the baby. To her surprise, the naive Bella fell for the scheme. She now juggled running the shop with washing diapers and caring for the infant at home. Bella's teacher, furious upon learning of the adoption, confronted her mother. Bella isn't even married. Making her raise this child now will ruin her entire future. But her mother feigned helplessness, saying, this was Bella's own decision. There's nothing I can do about it. The teacher urged Bella's mother to send the child to her own mother. Bella's mother immediately grew flustered. How would I know who the child's mother is? The teacher revealed the child's mother was Bella's older sister living in Seoul. The teacher was sharp. Bella's mother's ulterior motives were transparent. But when Bella vehemently denied the child was her sister's, the teacher dropped the matter, though not before warning Bella's mother as she left. Bella wasn't foolish. She'd long known she wasn't her mother's biological daughter and likely guessed the child belonged to her sister. Yet she owed her mother for raising her. She pleaded with the teacher not to be angry, promising to focus on learning hanbok making to earn money for the baby. But her greedy foster mother wouldn't let it go. To eliminate future complications, she pressured Bella to register the child under her household registration. The teacher, however, urged Bella to wait until she returned from Seoul before deciding, hoping to bring Bella back to Seoul with her. She didn't want Bella's talent to be wasted in this place. Unexpectedly, to avoid further complications, the adoptive mother threatened to send the child back to the orphanage, forcing Bella to immediately register the child under her household. This poor infant was sent to an orphanage by her grandmother immediately after birth, and it was all orchestrated by the child's own biological mother. Unbeknownst to them, the baby was born with congenital hearing impairment. Seeing her pitiful granddaughter, the grandmother exploited her adopted daughter Bella's kindness to formally adopt the child, justifying keeping her close. To support the sick child, Bella even turned down an opportunity to study hanbok in Seoul with her teacher. Yet her kindness was not reciprocated by her mother. One day, when the baby refused to drink formula, her mother insisted that breast milk was best for newborns. Bella rushed to the hospital, begging a doctor to lend her some breast milk. But the breast milk was spoiled. After drinking it, the baby developed a fever and fell ill. This inevitably led to her mother's scolding and abuse, berating Bella for being so stupid that she couldn't even handle such a simple task. Deeply blaming herself for her well-intentioned mistake, Bella rushed out to buy fever medicine. Yet upon returning home, she found the door locked. No matter how much she cried and shouted, her mother refused to open it. It turned out her mother had deliberately locked her out as punishment. With nowhere else to go, Bella sought refuge at her teacher's door. Hearing the commotion, the teacher opened the door to find Bella crouched in the rain. After learning the details, the teacher asked, after enduring such treatment, why not come back to Seoul with me to study? Bella replied that a mother remains a mother forever, and her sole wish now was to save enough money for her baby's hearing surgery. Until then, no matter how others curse or beat me, I'll live with my eyes closed, like a dog. The teacher felt deeply for Bella and tenderly said, after the baby's surgery, I'll be by your side. To raise the surgery funds, Bella carried her baby while running a business, serving customers, making and selling hanbok, and selling cardboard boxes. Meanwhile, Minjin, fearing her ex-boyfriend's retaliation, chose to study abroad. 5 years passed in the blink of an eye, and with savings nearly complete, Bella resolved to sell the small restaurant and move to Seoul. But her mother objected, fearing Minjin might return and not find her. Bella insisted, someone who hasn't called in 5 years won't come back in a lifetime. For her baby's sake, Bella resolutely moved to Seoul. The now-grown Yudon, seeing his grandmother constantly picking on his mother, grew upset and placed a frog inside her clothes. At that very moment, Minjin appeared at the domestic airport. This is the scene where Korea's most prestigious master craftsmen select apprentices. These identical twins, matching in appearance, height, and weight, wear identical outfits. To pass the test, you must discern which garment was crafted by the master craftsman and which is substandard. 5 years later, Bella honored her promise to her teacher and moved to Seoul as agreed. Having missed her chance to become a master craftsman by 5 years, she was determined not to let this opportunity slip away again. Bella arrived at the once familiar home carrying the package her teacher had given her. Seeing the rainbow-colored dyed fabrics in the courtyard, she felt as if she had stepped into a fairy tale. When she saw the stern master craftsman inside the house, she didn't know that this strict artisan was her own biological grandmother. She handed the package her teacher had given her to the old master. Upon opening it, she discovered it contained the handiwork of her most beloved eldest daughter-in-law. Inside was a letter demanding the grandmother take Bella as an apprentice. It stated that if Bella stayed by her side, she might one day find the courage to return to her. Though the master repeatedly inquired about her eldest daughter-in-law's whereabouts, Bella could only say she didn't know, as instructed by her teacher. Soon, the mistress learned of her sister-in-law's recommendation for Bella to join the Crimson Craft Academy. Fearing her sister-in-law might scheme to threaten her position as the needlework master, she urgently summoned Minjin back from abroad. The next day, when Bella arrived as scheduled, the lady fiercely blocked her entry, demanding Bella leave the Crimson Arts Academy. But the old master insisted she be admitted. A clash between mother-in-law and daughter-in-law loomed, leaving Bella caught in the middle. The old master finally proposed following protocol. If Bella passed the test set by the lady, she could stay. Bella stared dumbfounded at the identical twins before her, while the lady impatiently urged her to proceed. Bella observed, the elder sister has a cool complexion and pale skin, belonging to the yin category in yin-yang theory. She fears the cold and suits warm tones. The master artisan was highly satisfied that Bella understood yin-yang and the 5 elements. Bella continued, explaining that red and yellow would suit the elder sister perfectly, making the other undergarment clearly unsuitable. Yet her next words stunned everyone present. Bella declared that the younger sister, though sensitive to heat, possessed a lively spirit that made yellow equally fitting for her. The master craftsman grew furious, insisting that if she understood yin-yang, then blue would be the natural choice for the heat-sensitive younger sister. The mistress, however, gloated that Bella had failed the test and must leave immediately. But as Bella turned to leave, the twins called her back. She'd forgotten her belongings. "Sis, is your hearing not so good?" Bella asked. The twins looked utterly shocked. Bella explained she'd noticed her sister exaggerating her mouth movements earlier, and that the yellow dress was likely meant to make her visible at night to avoid accidents. Bella knew that revealing her sister's hearing impairment would get her expelled from the Crimson Arts Academy. The lady, hiding nearby, overheard Bella's words and thought, how could someone be so foolish, knowing the truth yet keeping silent? Unexpectedly, the matriarch also heard Bella's words and demanded the lady bring Bella back inside. At that moment, Min-jin returned to the Crimson Arts Academy from abroad. What would you do if you had such a terrible older sister? To prevent her younger sister from competing in the same design contest, she actually had their own mother cut up Bella's entry. When she found out Bella was learning to make hanbok at the Waisak Museum, she flew all the way from abroad just to drive her out. Upon returning to Korea, Min-jin rushed to her grandmother's room, first giving her a big hug, then showering her with affection. In truth, she did all this for her sister Bella's benefit, to make Bella feel unimportant in this family. She then pretended not to recognize Bella, deliberately greeting her coldly. Feeling uncomfortable, Bella chose to leave. No sooner had Bella stepped outside than the lady of the house warned her, Min-jin was summoned from abroad specifically to drive you out. Bella refused to back down, insisting she would study at the Crimson Arts Academy no matter what. Once biological mother and daughter, they now found themselves, as if by some strange twist of fate, turned into adversaries. Min-jin later confronted Bella, telling her to be sensible and leave immediately. But since becoming a mother, Bella had shed her timidity. Now, for her daughter and her own mother, she would no longer be manipulated by her sister. Walking through the Crimson Arts Gallery, Bella suddenly glimpsed hazy memories. She felt she had been in this house before. Following fragmented images in her mind, she reached her former bedroom. Staring at the painting on the wall, she realized, wasn't this something I drew as a child? How did it end up here? Just then, Min-jin entered. Bella confronted her. Did you copy my paintings to get into this family? Min-jin snatched the paintings, claiming she'd merely copied the courtyard and couldn't recall what Bella had drawn. Their exchange was overheard by their father as he passed by. Her father entered the room to ask what was happening, but the two girls made up a flimsy excuse to brush him off. Though he didn't get to the bottom of it, he knew Min-jin's painting must have been copied. So he sought out Bella again, pulling out a painting Effie had done as a child and asking if she had ever seen anyone else draw it. Seeing the man's frantic expression, Bella was about to reveal the truth when Min-jin deliberately interrupted her. The man then asked Min-jin, you and Bella attended the same elementary school as children. Surely you knew each other? Min-jin hastily claimed she had never met Bella, and Bella, to protect her sister's secret, chose to lie as well. Uncertain, Min-jin secretly went to her adoptive father's studio and found the painting Effie had drawn as a child. Upon seeing it, she recognized it immediately as Bella's work. How could Bella have painted Effie? Had Min-jin guessed Bella's true identity? The scheming woman finally got her comeuppance. After going to great lengths to drive her sister out of the Crimson Arts Academy, she ended up shooting herself in the foot. While cleaning the room, Min-jin accidentally discovered that Bella was actually Effie, the mistress's long-lost daughter. She stared in disbelief, and her foster father's sudden arrival startled her even more. To avoid detection, Min-jin deliberately changed the subject, but her panic didn't escape her foster father's notice. She absolutely couldn't let Bella reunite with her family, otherwise, all her years of effort would be wasted. Staring at Effie's childhood photos, Min-jin felt both panic and jealousy. She still couldn't believe that Bella, whom she had bullied since childhood, was actually Effie. Unexpectedly, her every move was observed by her adoptive father. He voiced his suspicions about Min-jin to the mistress, who had also noticed Min-jin's unusual behavior recently. The mistress then instructed the butler to investigate Min-jin's background in Chongqing. That day, Bella prepared to deliver the completed hanbok to the master craftsman, only to find him absent. Since her daughter Yudon was undergoing surgery that day, Bella left the garment in the master craftsman's room and hurried away. Unexpectedly, after Bella departed, Min-jin entered. To drive Bella out, she hid the dress on the table and hatched another wicked plan. When the master craftsman returned and discovered the dress was a defective piece, he flew into a rage. The mistress and Min-jin then barged in, demanding to see Bella's work, apparently aware it was flawed. Good heavens, what was going on? If outsiders learned the master's apprentice possessed such limited skill, wouldn't they laugh themselves silly? Min-jin stood by, adding fuel to the fire by claiming Bella's daughter was undergoing surgery and wouldn't be coming in for days. This enraged the old master so much he immediately called Bella over. When Bella arrived and saw the ruined garment, she protested that it hadn't been like this when she delivered it, someone must have tampered with it. Suddenly recalling Min-jin had been present during the delivery, she confronted her. But Min-jin, as the mistress's apprentice, refused to believe Bella's claims. Instead, she launched a personal attack, mocking Bella for having a child out of wedlock. Bella explained she had her reasons. Even if she weren't studying at the Feishu studio, she would never abandon her child. As she prepared to leave, she unexpectedly encountered Min-jin. Bella confronted her about the ruined garments, but Min-jin proved adept at feigning ignorance. Bella's adoptive parents overheard their exchange. The man told Bella, if you didn't do it, you should at least clear your name. Every seamstress has a distinct technique. One glance reveals the culprit. Bella told her sister, if you confess now, I'll forgive you immediately. But Min-jin stubbornly denied it, and Bella lost all mercy. Those who sew clothes are surrounded by silk daily, so their scent carries that fabric's essence. Yet this garment bears perfume. The culprit should be obvious now. After Bella left, Realizing her deception had been exposed, Minjin collapsed to her knees. How far would a woman go to cling to wealth and privilege? When her wealthy adoptive mother splashed water in her birth mother's face, the biological daughter stood by indifferently, then turned and followed her adoptive mother away. It turned out Minjin had secretly schemed to prevent her adopted sister from reuniting with her biological parents. But her dirty plot was uncovered by her wealthy adoptive parents. Facing expulsion, Minjin begged her biological mother to take Bella away. Only by removing Bella from the Feishu Pavilion could she stop the father and daughter from reuniting. But on their way back, they unexpectedly encountered Bella. Minjin raised her hand to slap Bella, but Bella was no longer someone to be pushed around. This scene was witnessed by her adoptive parents hiding nearby. Now the adoptive father was even more certain that Minjin and Bella knew each other. Bella, unwilling to lie any longer, declared, "Minjin is actually my sister." Just as Bella prepared to reveal the entire truth, her mother interrupted and forcibly dragged her away. After they left, Minjin began crying again, but her adoptive father no longer trusted her. Not only had she ruined Bella's clothes, but she had also lied about being an orphan to gain sympathy. Unexpectedly, Minjin pulled out her father's death certificate from a box, claiming she became an orphan after his death. She also lied that Bella's mother had beaten and verbally abused her since childhood. After being adopted by them, Bella's mother continued to torment her, threatening to sue them unless she sent money home monthly. Seeing the remittance records in the passbook, the adoptive parents believed Minjin and summoned her biological mother to confront her. Fearing her real mother might expose the truth, Minjin quickly interjected, "That woman kept demanding money from me, tormenting me constantly." Hearing her daughter speak of her this way was painful, but for Minjin's sake she chose to play along, portraying herself as a spoiled, hateful person. Seeing such greed, the adoptive father stormed out. The adoptive mother then splashed a cup of water in Minjin's biological mother's face. Watching her own mother get drenched, Minjin didn't utter a sound before following the adoptive mother away. Witnessing her biological daughter's utter coldness, the biological mother lost control and burst into tears. When Bella returned home, her mother told her, "I'm not your biological mother." To her surprise, Bella had known all along but had been pretending not to understand. Perhaps moved by Bella's genuine kindness, her mother decided to help Bella find her birth parents. Looking at Bella's missing person poster on the wall, she never imagined Bella was actually Effie, the missing daughter of the professor and his wife. The woman unexpectedly discovered her adopted daughter was actually the daughter of a wealthy family. She intended to reunite her with her biological parents, but an unexpected incident occurred at the crucial moment. That day, the mother went to the police station to help Bella search for her birth parents. She suddenly spotted Bella's childhood missing person flyer. She never imagined Bella's family had been searching for her all these 20 years. She dialed the number on the flyer, and the professor answered. The caller explained she had raised Effie to adulthood. Overwhelmed with emotion, the professor urgently asked if Effie was well. The adoptive mother revealed she too had spent the past 2 decades searching for Effie's birth parents, only discovering the flyer now, and confirmed she would come to the professor's home immediately. Hearing news of Effie after over 2 decades, the family wept tears of joy. The elderly master craftsman nearly fainted with shock upon learning his long-lost granddaughter had been found. But Minjin grew uneasy beside him. She knew Bella was Effie. She thought, could the woman who raised Effie be my own mother? They absolutely must not be reunited. Otherwise, both my mother and I could end up in prison. The family waited in the living room, feeling like they were sitting on pins and needles. Finally, the doorbell rang. Minjin rushed to open it, and for a moment they just stared at each other, wide-eyed. Minjin quickly snatched the missing person flyer from her mother's hand. In that instant, her mother finally understood Bella's biological parents were actually Minjin's adoptive parents. Seeing the message on Minjin's phone, "Don't mention Effie, go back immediately," Mom quickly changed her story, saying she'd come looking for Bella. The professor watched as Bella's mother left in disappointment. After waiting for ages, no one else came. Furious, the professor declared he'd hunt down whoever played this prank and make them pay. Minjin pleaded with Mom not to reveal Bella's true origins, warning that doing so would ruin all her efforts. She also confided that Bella's teacher was Effie's aunt. Meanwhile, the teacher saw Bella's childhood drawings, which were identical to Effie's from the same age. Suspecting Bella was Effie, she called asking for childhood photos, but when the teacher searched, not a single picture remained. Minjin had taken them all to destroy them long ago. Thinking everything was over, Minjin never imagined her ex-boyfriend had seen everything and restored the photos. The professor discovered that the daughter he had searched for over 20 years was none other than Bella, who had been a frequent visitor to his home. From the moment the teacher found the dragon robe, he suspected Bella was his niece Effie. One day, the professor instructed Bella to store some fabric in the warehouse, deliberately omitting its location. Halfway there, Bella suddenly realized she hadn't asked where the warehouse was. She intended to turn back and ask for directions, but the moment she looked back, she saw a vision of herself as a child. Following the childhood image, she smoothly made her way to the warehouse. The professor was astonished and asked Bella how she knew the warehouse's location. Bella herself was puzzled, having arrived there unconsciously. She then proceeded to describe the warehouse's organization, further confirming the professor's suspicion that Bella must be Effie. Minjin, watching from the doorway, was terrified by the scene. Watching Effie and Yudon eat jajangmyeon, the professor suddenly recalled his own daughter, Effie. Effie had also loved jajangmyeon dearly, so she offered her portion to Bella. Minjin, observing from afar, felt on the verge of losing her mind. Bella and her daughter were playing in the dying courtyard when Yudon suddenly asked Bella, "Why haven't I seen the kite you mentioned?" Bella looked up at the empty sky, then seemed to remember something. She told Yudon to wait a moment before running to a house. With practiced ease, she pulled a dusty box from beneath it. Opening it, she revealed a kite inside. Her daughter asked, "Mommy, how did you know the kite was here?" Witnessing this, the professor rushed over to confront Bella. "How did you know the kite was here? Even I didn't know." know? Bella herself was puzzled by her own knowledge. Yudon suggested, Mommy often draws pictures of this, so maybe she knew. The professor now even saw Effie's shadow in Bella's gaze. Overwhelmed with emotion, he sought out his sister-in-law, voicing his suspicion, could Bella be Effie? But she revealed she'd once suspected the same, even conducting a paternity test using Bella's toothbrush only to find it wasn't Effie. The professor walked away, his face etched with disappointment. Now even his brother-in-law doubted Bella's identity. Could the toothbrush have been flawed? Refusing to give up, the professor asked Bella to draw him several pictures to confirm her identity. The lady of the house, however, was displeased and now openly opposed Bella. What would she think if they were ever to be formally recognized? When the professor saw Bella's drawings, he already had his answer. Meanwhile, Bella, while tidying the warehouse, suddenly felt a splitting headache. Scenes from her childhood began flashing through her mind one after another. To secure her marriage to a wealthy heir, the impoverished woman callously ignored her own mother lying in a pool of blood. Her ex-boyfriend rushed to the scene, urging Minjin to come down and take her mother to the hospital. Yet Minjin's mind was consumed solely with her own prospects of marrying into the wealthy family. On the wedding day, her mother had intended to give her the ring she had long ago purchased for her biological daughter. But Minjin, completely oblivious to her mother's sentiment, feared the heir would discover her mother's existence. She flung the ring onto the street. Unbeknownst to her, as her mother chased after the ring, a motorcycle suddenly sped toward her. A piercing scream echoed through the entire street. Minjin tried to go check on her, but he stopped her. Peering through the window, Minjin saw her mother lying in a pool of blood. Her ex-boyfriend, Ji-sang, witnessed this and picked up Minjin's mother. He called Minjin, demanding, "What are you still doing there? Hurry up and come take your mother to the hospital." Ultimately, Minjin chose to prioritize her marriage into wealth, abandoning her mother's fate. Meanwhile, Bella regained her memories in the warehouse. Overwhelmed, she fainted. When she awoke, still unsure how to confront the truth, she continued pretending ignorance. Just then, Bella received news of her mother's hospitalization. Ji-sang revealed that Minjin had neglected her own mother to ensure the wedding proceeded smoothly. Though she intended to confront Minjin, Ji-sang restrained her. He declared, "If anyone must settle this, it will be me. Minjin not only sent me to prison, indirectly causing my parents' deaths, but also abandoned my daughter, Yudon, in secret. She must pay for her actions." Meanwhile, Minjin remained blissfully oblivious, lost in affection with Jae-hee, unaware that the events unfolding would shatter everything she currently possessed. Jae-hwa accidentally discovered photos of Effie as a child hidden inside Minjin's suitcase. She hurriedly took the photos to the professor. Upon learning Minjin had concealed them, the professor flew into a rage. However, his wife insisted it couldn't possibly be Minjin's doing, someone must be framing her. Minjin, learning from her mother-in-law that the photos had been discovered, panicked. She planned to sneak back to the Feishu pavilion while Jae-hee was bathing, only to be intercepted by her ex-boyfriend Ji-sung. "I finally understand what you've been doing," Ji-sung declared. "You've been stealing Effie's life. Today was supposed to be the day I exposed your true self, but now you've added another crime to your list, abandoning your own mother." Scheming foster daughter tried to prevent her adoptive parents from reuniting with their biological daughter, only to be caught red-handed. Enraged, the adoptive father slapped her across the face and demanded to know why Minjin had hidden Effie's photo. To everyone's shock, Minjin began lying again, falsely accusing Bella. By this point, the adoptive father refused to believe her, while the adoptive mother desperately tried to defend Minjin, lashing out at Bella as a lowly, ill-mannered child who must have done it. The adoptive father confronted his wife. "How could you say that? What if Bella really is Effie?" Her adoptive mother hastily dismissed his suspicion, insisting she would recognize her own child no matter how she looked. She claimed to see no trace of Effie in Bella. Furious, Minjin confronted the lady the next day, falsely accusing Bella again, this time of criticizing her hanbok as poorly made. When the lady found Bella, she slapped her without warning and hurled insults at her. Seeing her own mother treat her this way, Bella wept bitterly. Unwilling to let Minjin deceive the lady any longer, Bella warned Minjin she would undergo a paternity test to expose her true nature. To her shock, Minjin showed no fear, holding the lady's fatal weakness in her grasp. She threatened Bella, if she dared admit being Effie, Minjin would expose the lady's murder of her great-uncle, shattering the Fey Art Gallery forever. Suddenly, the professor appeared, warning Minjin to stop her games or face dire consequences. He then pulled Bella toward the paternity testing center. Bella hesitated, fearing she might bring misfortune upon everyone, but seeing the professor's desperate gaze, she agreed. Finally, the paternity test results arrived. When the doctor declared a 99.9999% probability of paternity, the professor was so overcome with joy he momentarily couldn't breathe. He had finally found his biological daughter. Moved to tears, they embraced. The professor brought Effie to the Crimson Arts Institute, where she saw Bella, her long-lost granddaughter. Grandmother couldn't hold back her tears any longer and embraced Bella tightly. Unexpectedly, the lady also saw Bella's childhood photos and confronted Minjin, demanding an explanation. Knowing Bella's identity could no longer be concealed, Minjin immediately turned hostile and threatened the lady. "If you're not afraid of exposing your role in Uncle Effie's death, go find Effie." But the lady, consumed by urgency, rushed straight to Bella's home, shouting, "Where have you hidden my Effie?" As the two women struggled, the teacher arrived. The woman begged her sister-in-law to reveal Effie's whereabouts. "That Bella you despise so much," her sister-in-law replied, "is Effie." Just then, Bella walked in. A 6-year-old girl, fearing her presence might interfere with her mother's wedding, secretly boarded a bus alone. Seeing the adults frantically searching for her, the little girl felt heartbroken but chose to leave quietly. That day, Zaihua announced his intention to marry Bella in front of his family, only to face fierce opposition. Zaihua's parents declared they would never allow a woman with a child like Bella into the family, but the sensible Yudon, fearing her presence might hinder her mother's marriage, immediately offered that she wouldn't move in with them after the wedding and would instead live with her grandmother. Minjin, fearing Yudon's presence would expose her biological daughter to her in-laws, coldly ordered her mother to take Yudon abroad immediately. Returning home, Bella discovered her mother and Yudon's luggage and passports missing. She suspected Minjin's involvement. Upon learning of Yudon's disappearance, Jisung furiously demanded, "Where did you take Yudon?" Minjin remained defiantly arrogant. Unexpectedly, Minjin's call with her mother was overheard by Hua, who immediately alerted Jisung upon learning Yudon was being sent abroad. Bella stormed to confront Minjin, warning that if anything happened to Yudon she would reclaim her identity as Effie and send Minjin to hell. Overhearing their conversation from nearby, the lady was shocked by Minjin's cruelty and resolved to protect her daughter Effie at all costs. Zishan, arriving at the airport, confronted Minjin's mother, demanding she hand over Yudon. But unexpectedly, Yudon had gone missing. Fearing her return with Uncle Zishan would jeopardize her mother's marriage, Yudon had secretly followed the adults onto the bus. Seeing them frantically searching for her, Yudon chose to leave silently, though her heart ached. Bella pleaded with her mother to reveal Yudon's whereabouts. "Seeking my birth parents and marrying you both were my mistakes," she confessed. "If Yudon returns, I'll serve you and her for the rest of my life." But instead of reflecting on her own fault, Minjin's mother turned the blame back on Bella. "Why did you insist on marrying me? If you hadn't, I wouldn't have taken Yudon abroad, and she wouldn't be lost now." Unexpectedly, the lady who had just arrived witnessed the entire scene. Seeing her biological daughter being bullied, she furiously rushed over and shoved Minjin's mother to the ground. She yelled at her, "How dare you bully my daughter?" Unexpectedly, upon learning her daughter had gone missing, Minjin showed not a shred of concern but instead felt relieved. Seeing how vicious the daughter she had given birth to truly was, the mother decided she would no longer help this daughter who was worse than an animal. A 6-year-old girl went missing unexpectedly, yet her biological mother remained unflappable, even remarking that losing her was for the best. This way, her secret of having given birth would never be discovered by her wealthy in-laws. Seeing her daughter become so ruthless, not only abandoning her own mother but now even discarding her child, the mother seethed with fury, wishing she could skin Minjin alive. Just then, the mistress suddenly appeared. Upon seeing the paternity test proving Minjin's mother's involvement, the mistress finally realized she had been raising an ungrateful foster daughter for over a decade and decided to disown her. Unexpectedly, Minjin threatened the mistress with a recording proving her involvement in the death of Uncle Effie, warning that if she were exposed as not being the daughter of the Scarlet Arts Pavilion, the mistress's secret would be made public. Minjin's mother refused to cover for her daughter any longer, unwilling to watch her spiral further. She resolved to reveal everything, but Minjin threatened suicide. Witnessing her daughter's ruthlessness, the mother reluctantly agreed to help Minjin one last time, stopping her from taking her own life. Yudon was finally located. Seeing his daughter reduced to this state, Jisung's heart ached unbearably. This time, he would show no mercy toward Minjin. He took a document and confronted the chairman and Jae-hee as they prepared to leave. Minjin was terrified. Jisung declared that Bella's mother's true daughter wasn't Bella, it was Minjin. Jae-hee was utterly disillusioned with Minjin. He demanded, "How many words out of your mouth are even true?" Minjin continued to feign innocence, claiming Jisung and Bella were framing her, but Jae-hee no longer believed her. Upon seeing Bella, Jae-hee became even more certain Minjin was hiding something from him. He ordered someone to install a tracking device in Minjin's car. Jisung's revenge against Minjin also began. He took Minjin to his father's old factory, forcing her to apologize to her deceased parents. Unexpectedly, Minjin stubbornly refused to admit fault, provoking Jisung further. Jisung slapped her across the face. Just then, Jae-hee arrived unexpectedly. Seeing him, Minjin instantly shed her defiant attitude, clutching Jisung's legs and pleading desperately. Witnessing his woman being tormented, Jae-hee punched Jisung square in the face. Amidst their struggle, Jisung activated a projection. The projection revealed evidence of Minjin and Jisung's past together. Was this really the end for him? The scheming woman, desperate to win back her rich second-generation husband, went so far as to poison her devoted ex-boyfriend. But unexpectedly, the rich second generation discovered her crime. Minjin, however, remained unervingly calm. Not only did she stop Jae-hee from calling emergency services, but when workers arrived, she lied, claiming she hadn't seen anyone at the scene of the accident. Jae-hee never imagined Minjin could be so ruthless. This time, he resolved to sever all ties with her. But Minjin threatened him, "You were at the accident scene too. If I get arrested, do you think you'll walk free?" Though Jae-hee wanted to strangle her on the spot, he forced himself to hold back. But when Bella and Jae-hwa arrived at the hospital, Jisung was nowhere to be found. Fearing exposure, Minjin had colluded with security to secretly transfer him to another hospital. Watching the unconscious Jisung, Minjin's heart finally settled. Unexpectedly, after Minjin left, Jisung suddenly opened his eyes. This time, he would outmaneuver her with a counterplot. Meanwhile, Jisung's in-laws learned that Minjin had abandoned her birth mother and lied about being an orphan. Unwilling to accept such an unfilial and cruel woman as their daughter-in-law, they pressured Minjin to divorce Jae-hee. But Minjin threatened her mother-in-law, "If I divorce him, I'll expose your son's murder." She framed all her crimes onto Jae-hee. To drive Jisung out of the company, she announced at a corporate meeting that Jisung had embezzled nearly 400 million won. Knowing he faced legal consequences, he had already fled. Just as everyone was about to believe Minjin's lies, Jisung suddenly appeared. Seeing him unharmed, Minjin panicked, knowing her end was near. Not only did Jisung expose her lies to everyone, but he also produced evidence of Minjin's plot to kill him. Now, no matter what Minjin said, no one would believe her. Jisung told Minjin to pull herself together. She couldn't break down now, because his revenge had only just begun. Minjin begged Jisung Ji-sung for mercy, but how could he possibly relent at this point? He intended to make Min-jin live in fear every day. Just as it seemed she was about to be driven out, Min-jin unexpectedly discovered she was pregnant. The wicked woman finally got her comeuppance. She thought carrying a child would let her return to her chaebol-in-laws, but instead, relentless exhaustion caused severe bleeding. When Min-jin woke up, she assumed some bleeding was normal, but her adoptive mother told her the baby was gone and she'd never conceive again. Min-jin instantly collapsed. If she lost this child, she'd never win Hee-soo back. Who could have imagined that greedy Min-jin would exploit her dead child? She lured her father-in-law out to demand child support payments after the baby was born. But then Jae-hee suddenly appeared and exposed Min-jin's lie. It turned out Jae-hee had known about Min-jin's miscarriage all along, and also discovered that Yu-dan was Min-jin's biological daughter. Her father-in-law flew into a rage. Using a dead child as a bargaining chip? She was utterly despicable. With Jae-hee gone as her support, Min-jin knew she had only one path left: winning the needlework master competition. On the day of the competition, her mother urged Min-jin to flee. "The police are everywhere, waiting to arrest you. Your father-in-law and husband have already filed charges against you. You fool, you're still thinking about the competition?" But Min-jin couldn't hear reason. She'd escaped so many times before, this time would surely be no different. Yet when she went to retrieve her competition dress, she discovered it wasn't the hanbok she'd made. The mistress had deliberately bumped into Min-jin and swapped the garments when she wasn't looking. The lady also confessed how she had killed her uncle and lost Effie 20 years ago. Now she was willing to atone for her past sins, but Min-jin refused to accept it, screaming that the competition was unfair and that everyone was siding with Bella. The old master craftsman ignored her and announced the results directly. Realizing she was now a laughingstock, Min-jin fled outside. But the police outside didn't catch her. Her mother had swapped clothes with Min-jin to let her escape. Though Min-jin now had nothing, she still loved Jae-hee. She wanted to spend one last night with him before turning herself in. But Jae-hee no longer believed her words. He felt every minute spent with Min-jin was a disgrace. He snatched the ring from Min-jin's hand and flung it into the flames. But then Min-jin made a shocking move. She plunged her hand into the fire to retrieve the ring, refusing to let go despite the excruciating pain of the flames. The woman walked desperately toward the center of the lake. Her mother, who couldn't swim, tried to rescue her but nearly drowned herself. In that moment, Min-jin finally came to her senses, begging Bella to show mercy and let her wait until her mother woke up before leaving. Unexpectedly, her mother developed dementia due to the near drowning. The lady moved out of the Scarlet Art Studio and took it upon herself to care for Min-jin's mother. In her spare time, she even sewed clothes for inmates who had committed crimes while in prison. Noticing Min-jin's severely burned hands, the lady tried to persuade her to undergo surgery, but Min-jin refused. She clutched the wedding ring Jae-hee had given her, while Bella became the seamstress at the Crimson Studio. 3 years passed in the blink of an eye. As if by fate, Min-jin's mother, afflicted with dementia, remembered only Bella as her daughter. After serving her sentence, Min-jin found her mother, but no matter how she pleaded, she couldn't awaken her mother's memories. Seeing the mother who once loved her so deeply now unable to recognize her, Min-jin's heart ached unbearably. Yu-dan gazed at Min-jin's injured hand, asking tenderly if it hurt. "Next time I come," she promised, "I'll bring you pretty gloves." Everyone assumed they had deceived Yu-dan, unaware she had long known the woman before her was her biological mother. The mistress, having gained her family's forgiveness, returned to the Scarlet Art Gallery. The old master craftsman found great comfort in seeing the family reunited in harmony before his departure. In the blink of an eye, Min-jin had become the very image of Bella, helping her mother run the soup restaurant and even styling her hair exactly like Bella's. Yet her mother still either beat or scolded her constantly. Jae-hee found Min-jin and gave her money, urging her to get surgery. Before leaving, Min-jin told Jae-hee to find a good woman and live happily. Seeing the redness in both their eyes, perhaps there was still affection between them. Min-jin had assumed her mother would never remember her again, but to her surprise, her mother called out Min-jin's name. Yet following her mother's gaze, she realized the name was actually meant for a dog. Watching her mother run off in a daze, Min-jin felt it didn't matter, as long as her mother called her name. It didn't matter if it was for a cat or a dog. Meanwhile, her ex-boyfriend Ji-sung resolved to start anew, only to find a girlfriend who bore an uncanny resemblance to Min-jin. One could only wonder if seeing that face would haunt him. Yu-dan finally learned that Ji-sung was her father. Standing behind him, she kept calling out daddy, watching him walk away until he disappeared from sight.